reach and extend the arms from the sideways. So don't overdo the lift of the chest here. Let the skin of that front chest soften. Reach the arms up from the side ribs. And then take the arms down. Let's do that one more, the Urdhva Hastasana. So, you know, we're told oftentimes lift the chest, lift the chest, lift the chest, but these actions can be overdone. We want to keep that ease of breathing. So raise the arms up. Keep that frontal chest area soft. So don't lift your chest. Instead, lift the side waist, lift the side ribs, and see how that resonates differently. Is there more of an ease of breathing? And then reach the arms up a little bit higher, and then hands down. Okay. Okay, let's take some Warrior One variations. So let's begin with have a chair. Have a chair, and then you're going to take that chair in front of you on the sticky mat, and then your right leg is forward, left leg is back, left toe mounds are down, left heel is at the wall, and take that heel a little wide. So the heel is, rather than being in, like when we do Warrior One, right? Normally that foot's turned in a little bit. So you're actually taking the toe mounds down, the heel just slightly up the wall. It's not, the idea isn't to get it way high up. It's just that it's more possible if the heel is a little bit elevated, and that heel out wide. So it's a slightly toes in, heel out action, and then the right leg forward, hand on the chair. So just come in this much, and then we'll proceed together. So even now, you know, stand up, just stand upright for a moment, have your hands on your hips, and you can feel what this pose is doing for you. How might this prepare you for Viparita, Viparita, Dandasana, or any other number of back bends, right? Because one of the things we need in back bends is, of course, the mobility in the thoracic spine and the ribs and the shoulders, but also the length in the frontal thighs. And as Cher mentioned, getting that buttocks up, right? So it also is buttocks in as well. All right, anchor that back leg, tighten the knee. And then you can slide that chair out if you need, and bend that front leg. So it's like a Warrior One, where your hands are on the chair seat. Grip that back kneecap in, frontal hip bones up, chest up. Yeah, and can you descend that right thigh to be parallel to the floor? Reach back into the wall with your back leg. Okay, change over, change the sides. So right leg back, toes down, heel just a little bit up the wall. So we're not going for a high heel lift, but it's very difficult for most of us to take that wide stance and get the heel down. So heel up, heel out, hip bones up, and then bend that front leg. So can you get the hip bones up, frontal hip bones up, so your torso is upright, and then hands on the chair seat. Let the two legs separate. Let the two buttock bones separate. Grip that back leg, lengthen out. Yeah, let that back leg, frontal thigh lengthen out. And then let that left buttock bone slide forward so the legs separate. Okay, come up, change over. So look here for a second. So we're going to do again, just the same way. Now, when you bend that front leg, you're focused on keeping your torso upright. And it's that front leg, it's like that buttock bone, it just slides forward, almost like a car seat, how a car seat moves like this. Let that front buttock bone slide forward without tilting the hips. You have to keep the hips in line, right? You're not tilting this way, but let this side descend, let that buttock bone slide forward as you anchor the back leg. Okay, right leg forward, left leg back. Toe mounds down, heels up the wall, stay upright with the torso. That's it. That looks better, Cher. You're definitely more, that frontal thigh is more parallel, your torso is more upright. Anchor that back leg, grip the back knee, and then let that right thigh descend. Grip the back knee to extend out through the back leg, let that right buttock bone slide forward. Torso upright, back ribs in and up. Change over. Left leg forward, right leg back. That back heel a little bit out wide, so it's not coming in. It'll allow you different access to the frontal thigh of the back leg. And then keep the hip bones up, keep the tailbone into the body so we can start to work with that tailbone buttocks here. And then let your left buttock bone slide forward. So the tailbone stays into the body, not not hooked back, right? So tailbone in, hook that tailbone forward, left buttock bone slides forward, descend the left thigh. Tighten the right inner knee. Allow for that length of the right frontal thigh. Okay, release. Let's flip it around. Put the chair at the wall now. If you want to protect your wall, you could put a blanket over the back rest of the chair. Let's keep the chair on the sticky mat so it's not slipping and sliding away from us. And then you're going to take your right foot up on the chair. The back leg is turned, the foot's turned slightly as you would for warrior one. So right leg is up on the chair, back leg is slightly turned, back leg is straight, hands on the hip. And then from here, you're going to bend and straighten a few times. So we're just bending and straightening the leg. You're actually not even fully straightening that top leg. You don't need to, that's not important. What we're going for is getting some opening on the back leg frontal thigh. So let those hips come forward. Let the hips come forward. Yeah, that's it. Just bend and straighten. You all have it. Hands on the hips, torso up. Keep the back leg straight. You can stay for a couple seconds. So when you get to that point where you're coming forward into the pose, keep the torso upright, chest up. Now don't let yourself just hang out in the ligaments here. So keep the outer hips in. Okay, and then come up, change over. Yeah, so just one word of caution here. You are coming forward, you are taking the hips forward, you are creating length in that back leg, but don't let yourself just hang out there. So keep the outer hips in, so there's a containment. I don't want anybody to pull a groin doing this. Okay, left side, let's go. Left leg forward. And those that have worked on like Ekapada Kapotasana, you know, if you've taken any of those classes with Patricia Walden, for instance, she does a lot of Ekapada Kapotasana workshops. She'll talk about the importance of keeping those outer hips in, because that pose, if you know, is very much about the hips and the groins. It's very much actually related to Hanumanasana. So you do need to create that length in the frontal thighs and the frontal hips, but you need to keep that balance of containment and strength so that you do not overstress the ligaments and pull something. Okay, change over, right leg forward, left leg back. We also balance that movement, that mobility by stabilizing the back leg as well. So outer heel down, kneecap tight, and then again, bend and straighten. So getting some suppleness in these frontal thighs. Yeah, take that buttocks into the body, tailbone into the body, chest up. Okay, and then come forward into your expression of this modified warrior one. Get those frontal hip bones to lift up off the thigh, and then go ahead and take the arms up as you would for warrior one. Back ribs in and up. Yeah, tighten that back knee. Don't let that back knee bend at all. All right, release, change over. Left leg forward, right leg back. You know, and also just a word here, if you ever are working with a hip issue, or potentially even a knee issue, oftentimes elevating the injured area can be helpful. So, you know, it does exaggerate this length on the frontal thigh, but it also does take some load off the front leg. So, you know, we're not working therapeutically here today, but just it's good to note different ways of working with the poses and what are their effects, right? You know, also by creating elevation, it creates a little lightness too, doesn't it? You know, when we get up off the floor, sometimes if we're just feeling heavy, lethargic, taking a little elevation can help. All right, and then come forward, back leg straight, bend that left leg, and then reach the arms up. Can you peel that torso up off the frontal leg, tighten the back knee. Back ribs in and up, reach the arms up from the ribs. Okay, and then go ahead and release. All right, let's put the chair off to the side. Now, Adho Mukha Vrikshasana, so downward facing tree pose, or commonly nicknamed handstand. Start near the wall. If this is not for you today, you can take either downward dog or Ardha Uttanasana. So this is Ardha Uttanasana. You can do this pose, or a variation of downward dog would be another option. Or if you're coming upside down, let's go ahead and come in a couple times just to get things rolling here, to refresh, to energize, to start to bear weight on those arms, to get some blood flowing to the head. So come near the wall, fingertips a few inches from the wall, spread the palms, spread the fingers, elbows straight, walk in, And then from the root of the thigh with the elbows straight, kick up one thigh, then one leg, then the other. Now I notice I did say one thigh, then the other, because you want to kick up from the root of the thigh. And first, look forwards, look towards the center of the room. Okay, now this is where those of us who struggle to get the buttocks in and up, this is a good place to work with that. So look to the middle of the room, nice, Elka, and send that buttocks up, send the heels up. Yeah, okay, and then come down, rest in either Tadasana or Uttanasana, and then repeat. Yeah, and then if you're not doing the Adho Mukha Vrikshasana, you can alternate between Tadasana, Ardha Uttanasana, and Downward Dog. Folks who are doing the Adho Mukha Vrikshasana, get set. See if you can kick up with the other leg. Don't let the elbows bend to do this. So elbows straight from the root of the thigh, kick up and look to the middle of the room, and then buttocks away from the wall. Elbows straight, buttocks away from the wall. Look to the middle of the room and send the heels up the wall. And then maintain those heels up, and then you can take that head and look to the floor. So there's a progression there. Another option too for folks who are not doing this pose is to come back to some of the shoulder poses as well. So Gomukhasana, Paschima Namaskarasana, any of the shoulder poses would be good. Okay, come on down. Take Tadasana. So stand straight and tall, Tadasana. Take a moment there. Reach the arms down, lift up through the side walls of the chest. So outer hips in. Tune into the sideways, tune into that armpit chest. So we know that thoracic region is important for Dvipada Viparita Dandasana. So here, get that vertical lift of the armpit chest. Okay, look here, we're going to repeat Adho Mukha Vrikshasana. I just want to clarify what I'm asking here. So again, you'll be near the wall, fingers a couple inches from the wall. As you walk in, keep those arms firm, straight, no bend in the elbows. Now you're going to let the head, the back of the head lengthen down, come in close to the wall. From the root of the thigh, you kick up and look to the center of the room. Don't look to the floor. Now from here, arms firm, buttocks up. So tailbone in, buttocks in and up, look to the middle of the room, send the heels up the wall. Maintain, and then look to the floor. Can you make the heels go even higher up as you look to the floor? And then thoracic spine comes in to look to the floor, even look to the wall. But when you look to the wall, take the thoracic spine in. So first look to the middle of the room, buttocks up, heels up, and then you maintain, and then you look to the floor. Okay, go ahead and get set and go. So when you kick up, arms firm, kick up from the root of the thigh, buttocks up, tailbone in, buttocks away from the wall. Send the heels up the wall, arms firm. And then maintain heels up the wall, and then take the head down, even look towards the wall. That's it, keeping that thoracic spine up. Yeah, and that also, okay, good. And then come down, okay, come down, and everybody Uttanasana, take Uttanasana. Okay, Pincha Mayurasana, we're going to use the wall. Now, if you're not kicking up into Pincha Mayurasana today, you can just work with the foundation of the pose, right? And then for folks who if this is not appropriate at all for you, what you can do is you can work with the arms in Pincha Mayurasana at the wall. So you can just take the arms like this, have the elbows shoulder height, and then from here, you can turn the palms to face, and then even just work on sliding the hands up the wall and taking them down, and keep the upper arms compact. So don't let the elbows splay out. This is good work here. So you take the hands like Pincha Mayurasana, and then you have the palms facing, and then you work on keeping the upper arms compact and just sliding the hands up the wall and bringing it down. Okay, so that's the alternative for Pincha Mayurasana if you shouldn't be putting your head down or straining the head or eyes. Otherwise, let's set up for Pincha and have elbow support. So If you want to put a block between your hands, you can certainly do that. If you want to belt the elbows, you can certainly do that. But I also want you to have something underneath your elbows. So you can take either a folded blanket, or if you have an extra sticky mat, you can fold that up. I'm not looking for a big thick support, just something thin. So an extra sticky mat folded up a couple times is good, or a thin blanket folded, just something like, even you could use the edge of a blanket like this. So not a big thick support, right? Yeah, belting the elbows is fine. Taking a block is fine. So I'm going to use the block. I'm going to put the block at the wall. And then you'll have the palms spread, the thumb mound at that block, the elbows and just a little bit of the forearm supported. And then from here, take your time. You're going to take your time, set the foundation of the pose. So inner wrist down, shoulders up. When you press the inner wrist down, you're going to watch what does that do to your shoulders. And then you'll take your hips up, shoulder blades up, let the head relax down. Don't do this with your head. And then you'll walk the hips in, head release down, head off the floor. And then from the root of the thigh, you kick up and take the feet to the wall. Okay, so if you're not already there, go ahead and get there and just do a couple rounds on your own. You can also not kick up and just work with the foundation of the pose, or you can work with the arms at the wall how I showed. Good. Now work in the same way we did in Adho Mukha Vrikshasana. So let's carry those threads, those points of connection through. So when you kick up, keep the back of the head releasing down, look to the middle of the room, take the heels up, and then keep the heels up and then look to the floor. And then you hold, come down, and go up again. You can rest in between. So take that time to let the head release, to send the heels up the wall, to work at getting the buttocks away from the wall. I know this is the work for all of us. Yeah, heels up, shoulders up, inner wrist down. When you press those inner wrists down, yeah, keep the legs together, legs working strong. When you press those inner wrists down, what does that do to the shoulder blades? Okay, and go ahead and bring that round to a close. You can rest in Adho Mukha Virasana. Okay, we're going to do once or twice more. Now this time, you can keep the elbow support if you feel like that's working well for you. You can keep that elbow support. If you want to take it away, and you can compare and kind of see what was that support doing. And of course, can you maintain that lift of the shoulders without the support, right? So up to you. Now, I don't know about you, but I find it's actually it's perhaps difficult to balance in this pose, but if I can balance, I get actually a much better pose, because, how do you really get that vertical shape of the pose when your heels are at the wall, right? So I'll show you what I mean. It'll be very apparent on my body, all the mistakes. So of course, when you walk in, the head's off the floor because your shoulder blades, your shoulders are so strongly lifted. You lift up from the root of the thigh, heels at the wall. Okay, so you can see here how I have this kind of banana shape for the back. The buttocks is moving back to the wall. And now from here, though, looking to the middle of the room, I'm going to lift up one leg so much so that it starts to come off the wall. And then can I bring the other leg to meet? And then from there, I know I've got work to do, but I can start at least to approach a little bit more of a vertical pose. And I'm keeping my face towards the middle of the room, keeping that back of the neck long. And then from there, can I maintain, press the inner wrist down and start to look towards the wall? Okay, let's go ahead and give that a go. So you might start to at least feel a little bit of that vertical connection. I know I still have a long ways to go with my pose there, but at least I can start to feel a little bit more of a vertical connection from the head to the tailbone. Okay, so your turn. Spread the palms, press those inner wrists down. Yeah, take your time, watch how you come in, that's it. Kick up with the root of the thigh, inner wrist down, inner elbow down. First, that's it, Cher. Yeah, look to the middle of the room, back of the neck long, heels up the wall, that's the way. Good, feet together. And then stay looking towards the middle of the room and see, can you take one leg away? If you come down and lose your balance, no big deal, right? Just go again, no big deal. Give it a few attempts. Yeah, keep that leg straight, lift it up to take it away. Yeah, you can do it with 2 legs, sure. And can you start to connect into that plumb line lengthening of the heels to head? Yeah, keep the legs. Eventually the legs come together. That's it. See if you can look towards the middle of the room when you peel the legs. You'll actually get a better pose. Yeah, buttocks up more, ribs in. There you go. Send the heels up. Look to the middle of the room. The balance, I find that the balance is actually easier if I'm looking to the middle of the room. And then once you get away from the wall, then you take the head towards the wall. Okay. All right. Work in progress there. Me too. Me too. All right. Something for us all to keep working with. We're going to go ahead and move on, though, because I do want to make sure you actually have time to make some attempts at Viparita. But it's something for us all to work with. You know, I definitely put myself in that camp of getting that buttocks in and up, tailbone in and up. But I do find that the more you can work with, I do find that one helpful tool is keeping that back of the neck long, looking towards the middle of the room, that I can then connect more vertically, and then take the head back. So. All right, something to keep working with. But let's switch gears a little bit. So now what you're going to do is we're going to work with a variation of Vrikshasana. So you're going to, you're actually going to be about a shin's length away from the wall for Vrikshasana. So normally when we take headstand, you're either in the middle of the room or you're right up against the wall, okay? So today I'm trusting you to take care of yourself here. Now, if this is not for you, you can work with the foundation of Vrikshasana, or you can just take Vrikshasana at the wall, right? No big deal, okay? But this is what we're aiming for. So you're going to be, maybe like a shin's length away from the wall. You can kind of take an estimate of your shin's length. And then you place the arms for headstand Vrikshasana. So interlace the fingers completely. Press the outer wrist down, lift the shoulders just like you did in Pincha Mayurasana. So Pincha Mayurasana shoulders. Now don't put your head on the floor right away. So first you lift the toes up, lift the knees up, head off the floor. And then you walk in, lift the shoulders. Then you take the head down. So this will help our Pincha Mayurasana too. Okay, and then from here, you take one leg up and then the other. You're in Vrikshasana. And then you'll bend your knees and just do a little exploratory mission here. You're going to reach one toe out. Oh, there's the wall. Reach the other toe out. There's the wall. Okay, good. The wall's not so far away. And then you're going to put the feet on the wall, knees bent, tailbone in, buttocks up, elbows down, shoulders lifted. Okay, let's start with just this much. So give it a little test round just to get familiar. So you're about a shin's length from the wall. If you get up and you do the exploratory mission and you can't find the wall, then come down, get closer. If you get up and you find you're too close, and you can move a little further. And if this is not for you today, you can just work with the foundation of Vrikshasana. You can do Vrikshasana at the wall, or folks doing the recording supine poses are good too with a back bending action. So Supta Padottanasana, Supta Virasana with a bolster for spinal support and head support. Okay, come on up. That's it. Yeah, so be in Vrikshasana. And then once you get your distance, bend the knees, feet flat on the wall. Yeah, and put those feet on the wall and buttocks up. Buttocks up. So we can work with those buttock actions here. This is another way to work with the pose. So I can do this pose in such a way that the buttocks hangs down, or I can press the feet into the wall and draw that bottom buttock into the body, draw the middle buttock into the body, and then lift the lower abdomen to the chest. Yeah. Okay, good. All right, go ahead and come on down, Adho Mukha Virasana. Okay, is that making sense to everybody? Okay, so now look here. So we're going to add some motion and some movement in now. So, and if you felt like that was pretty easy for you in terms of like, it was not a big reach to get to the wall, then you can move a couple inches from the wall. You can move a little further out if that was no big deal. So you'll come in the same way. Head up, place the head down, shoulders up. We'll take the legs up. This time, go ahead and come in with bent legs. So now here, base of the buttocks in. Also, I'm lifting up, so I know it's sort of in reverse, it's upside down, but my abdomen is lifting up towards the chest. So it's drawing, so my abdomen, it's drawing to the chest. Okay, and then from here, you're going to take the feet to the wall, and then we're going to bounce off the wall a few times. But when you're bouncing, you're not just bouncing with the feet, but you draw the buttock in. You draw the base of the buttock in, so steady the arms, and then bouncing off the wall, or bouncing off the walls, drawing the buttocks in to bring the feet away. Okay, so your turn. So you're drawing the feet away, but you're moving the legs and the feet from the buttocks by taking that middle buttock in. And then it's also abdomen up. So top buttock down, abdomen up. So working on getting that length through the lumbar, length through the frontal body. And of course, manage the base of your pose, outer wrist down, shoulders up. That's good. Good way to come in there, Cher. Good. Yeah, shoulders up. That's it. Yeah, and then do a few repetitions on your own. Feet at the wall. And rather than that's it, just pressing with the, rather than just pressing with the feet, that's it. Good. That looks good with the buttocks there and the hips, Cher. Yeah, so steady the arms, steady the elbows. That's it. Can you draw the feet away from the wall by taking the buttocks in so much? Yeah, good. Okay, try now, Cher. I think you could move a little bit further from the wall. Also, Jan, see if you can do this again. Just move a little bit further from the wall. So that way you start to challenge yourself more to bring that chest forward, because there's also a counterbalancing action here. I'll see if I can show. You know, you can always take that little exploratory mission first too, to make sure that you know where the wall is. But as you move a little bit further from the wall, there's a counterbalancing with the chest that happens. So then you start to contact more of that Viparita shape. So that chest comes forward also. So when I draw my feet away from the wall and buttocks in, there's also an opening of the chest that happens. So we're starting to move towards that Viparita shape. Okay, one more time, your turn. So as the feet come away from the wall, the thoracic spine moves in also. And then you're starting to create that Viparita shape. Yeah, and you can take a little exploratory mission, one leg at a time. That's it, Elka. Yeah, that's it. Buttocks in. So draw the feet away from the wall. There you go, by taking the buttocks in. And let the chest come forward. Yes, you press the outer wrist, you press the elbows, but there is some movement at the base of the pose for sure. You know, when you take Vrikshasana and drop back into Viparita, there's actually, we won't get into this too much today, but there's actually a little bit of a collapse of the shoulders that has to happen. So that base of the pose, it doesn't stay absolutely fixed if you're dropping from headstand into Viparita. Just folks who work on that, just so you know. Okay, and then when you feel about cooked here, come on down, Adho Mukha Virasana. So I want to keep us moving along, but I'm just going to mention you can work with this, of course, on your own. So what's our list today? Pincha Mayurasana, buttocks up. This one is a good one to work with. And then you can also take this, and we're not going to do this today, but you can also take this into Adho Mukha Vrikshasana, right? So same kind of action, same kind of thing. Steady the arms, and then I think I'm a little close to the wall, but you can see it's the same sort of deal here, right? Where you're taking that buttocks in, a little bit more difficult, but same kind of action. All right, so that's homework if you choose. Let's take Prasarita Padottanasana. So stand up, legs wide. Feet wide, legs wide. Take a moment, stand upright. Take a deep breath, extend from the bottom chest to the upper chest, elbows lifted, not elbows lifted, knees lifted, thighs lifted, elbows back. Inhale, lift the chest, legs straight. Take the hands down underneath your shoulders. Inner legs up, outer heels down. And then draw your thoracic spine into the body to look forward. So abdomen recedes to the spine, outer heels down, and then take the back ribs into the body to look forward. So yes, you're looking forward, but you're looking forward by taking the middle upper back into the body. So the head moves from the middle back. Okay, and then bend your elbows, walk the hands back, let your head come down. Of course, anybody doing the recording, if it's not for you to take the head down in such a way, you can take Prasarita Padottanasana with your head supported on a chair or even hands at the wall. Press through the palms, lift up through the forearms, shoulders up. Let your head relax, let your abdomen relax. So make the adjustment, maintain the adjustment, and then observe body, breath, organs. I don't know. I think it's hard to observe the organs unless there's something going wrong with them. But if you have that sensitivity, then wonderful. But you can pay attention to the sensations in the softer parts of the body. So is the abdomen softening, receding? So you can turn your focus there to that region of the body where we have a lot of our organs, the organic body, the more watery aspects of the body. Okay, and then come on up, straight legs, come on up. And walk the feet in. Okay, so next, we are going to work on Paryankasana. And let's do this variation of Paryankasana. Let's take the chair. I don't think it needs to be at the wall, but put it on the sticky mat so it doesn't slide away. And then you'll take the sticky mat for the seat of the chair. Some of you have done this with me before. You'll sit on the floor in front of that chair, and then you're going to hook the upper back onto the chair, knees bent, feet flat on the floor, lift up, let your head rest. So I'm hooking the upper shoulder blade area on the chair, and then you reach back. You can either hold here or reach through and hold the back leg of the chair. And then you're going to slowly lower down. Here we can work with our buttocks as well. So rather than letting the buttocks just hang in this away, you can draw that buttocks away from the lumbar and then slowly lower down, keeping that length in the lumbar spine, keeping the abdomen lifted. So not this one, but this one. Okay, so this much first. Watch that the elbows point up. You can hold the chair like this. You can also work with compacting the upper arms. Hamstrings in. So this is also a good strengthening here for the hamstrings, the buttocks, to just stay here for a moment. It's almost like a Vrikshasana variation. So this kind of strength in the hamstrings and buttocks is helpful for us also. So actually, let's just be here for a moment before you even start to lower. So press the heels, draw the base of the buttocks up, draw the hamstrings into the buttocks. And then you can reach the arms overhead through the chair if that makes sense for you. Hold the back leg of the chair, elbows up, upper arms compacted in. So roll the arms from outside in, upper arms roll from outside in. And then keeping that top buttock lengthening away from the lumbar spine, start to lower down. And do with movement. This is more effective if you kind of move through this pose a little bit. So we're looking to break up the stiffness in the middle upper back. And you can also experiment with where your shoulder blades hit the chair. If you feel like you're high up and you're just not getting much traction, much movement, try lowering down a little bit. Okay, good. And then release. Come on down. Okay, and then you can either repeat that way, or we'll take this into like a Paryankasana action. Now you'll sit with the legs Virasana. So now we're starting to get this length in the frontal thighs, which is important for a lot of the back bends. And then same thing. So now with the Virasana legs, you reach overhead, and now that buttocks will probably start to come down more. And now you can just let the buttocks drop. So now you're not lengthening the buttocks so much away from the lumbar spine. You just let the buttocks drop, let the roots of the thighs drop. And when that happens, watch what happens to your chest, your thoracic spine. And do with movement. Don't just stay. You'll get more out of this pose if you do with movement. So I'm reaching overhead. The shoulder blades are on the chair seat, and then I'm letting that buttocks drop a few times. And when it drops, because I'm holding on to the chair, I get an opening in the chest. I take that thoracic spine in. And for me, it's like my middle upper shoulder blade is on that chair seat. That looks good, Cher. Yeah, so with movement, just let the buttocks drop, let the roots of the thighs drop. Now, of course, I'm not giving instructions about the Virasana legs, so we're not beginners. So you have to manage your legs, shins. Okay, and then go ahead and release, come out. Okay, so moving right along. Now, I will just mention, we're not going to do today, but I will just mention that Paryankasana is also a very helpful pose for working on Viparita. So for your own practice, taking Paryankasana with bricks can be very helpful. You can take a block for your thoracic spine. You can take a block for the head, and then you can work with the arms here, and then you can work on taking that block away for the head, arcing over, holding the block in the hand, taking that thoracic spine in. So this is another good thing just for your own homework. Okay, but let's move along now. So either you're going to push up into Urdhva Dhanurasana. So if you're able to push up into Urdhva Dhanurasana, just go ahead and get set, do a few. You can use the wall, you can use whatever supports you need. If that is not for you, you can work on that brick Paryankasana. You can take Supta Virasana with support, or the other option is I'm going to show how to work with the chair. One way of working with the chair in Viparita, Viparita Dandasana. So you have the chair, and then you're going to take a belt. So this is a little bit of a fast forward version of the class today. I'm just kind of throwing a lot of things at you to work with today and to work with in the future at home. And part of the reason is that I know a lot of you have done these classes with me before, or have taken classes with me before. So you have some familiarity here. I wouldn't do this with a group I'd never met. So I'm looping the belt around the back leg of the chair. And then I'm just going to make a tail, just making a tail, drawing that through. When you're just starting to work with Viparita Dandasana, it's good to start with the bent legs, and that's in the middle of the room too, if you're pushing up. And then from here, you sit on the chair, bent legs, recline back, slowly ooze out. And then you can reach the arms overhead, grab hold of that tail, and then gradually start to walk those hands back. Okay. Totally fine if your elbows do not come down. So you press the outer wrist down, And then you start to create that shape in the arms and shoulders. Just let your head relax. And then as you're able, you can lift the head, walk in more. Okay, so that's how you can start to work if pushing up from the floor is not possible. And that's a great way to work. Otherwise, go ahead and do a few Urdhva. Yeah, now remember from last week, straighten the elbows, go to the leg side, shins up. That's it, Jan. Tighten the elbows and then chest to the wall. Good. How about do one more, Jan? Good. Shins up, elbows straight, go to the legs, and then chest to the wall. Yeah, nice, Cher. That looks really good. Nice. I like that. Yeah, I like that for you. Good. Yeah. So feet elevated for Viparita is a great way to work. Okay, Cher, can you stay there for a second? So I'm just going to spotlight Cher. So she's working with a chair support and the feet elevated for Viparita. So when we want to get that vertical, you can see she's getting this nice vertical shape of the chest and the thoracic spine. So to get that verticality, and then she has that same kind of Viparita shape with the armpits. There's still an indent for the armpit, but she's getting a nice lift for the thoracic, and then the feet are elevated, right? So when we want to get that vertical shape, thank you, Cher, that vertical shape for the chest, it can be very helpful initially to elevate the feet, okay? So that's actually what we're all gonna do. Now you can do as Cher's doing here, or you can do on the floor, but with the feet elevated. So how do you do that? You take your feet on the wall, I'll show. So you're going to get close to the wall. I'm not going to worry about straightening my legs if I'm pushing up from the floor. So I'm going to get close into the wall, place the hands, lift the head, place the arms one at a time, interlace the fingers, and then from here, you just walk the feet up the wall about hip level, and then from here, press those elbows down, and then as you push off the wall, remember from Vrikshasana, right? You push off the wall, take the buttocks in, take the chest forward, okay? Just like that. Okay, so your turn, you can either do using the chair or give this a go. And hopefully you can draw those connections, going back to our Vrikshasana work from earlier, where the feet were on the wall. We're basically taking the same thing, but now we've just walked the feet down the wall. And anybody, if it's not for you, you can come back to Viparita Dandasana, so back bend through the chair with head support, or any of the supine poses where you're taking support for your spine, support for your head, so you're working on taking that upper back in. That's what we're after today. And then also the coordination of how does lifting that buttocks in, taking the buttocks in and up, how do we coordinate? Yeah, go ahead and walk the feet up the wall. You have to press those elbows down. Yeah. I know it can be a little freaky with the feet up the wall. You can do it with the feet down on the floor, it's fine. But maybe try putting a block for the feet. If it's not feeling good to put the feet on the wall, you can put the feet on a block. Yep, that's it, Jan. And then maybe, I don't know if you can get in a little closer, Jan, to the wall so you can bend the knees. So it's like a bending and straightening. See if you can get in a little closer, because I think it'll give you more lift in the chest. Yeah, and if it's not feeling, if it's feeling too precarious to put the feet on the wall, you can always put feet on blocks. But it's that bending and straightening the legs, the drawing in of the buttocks that gets that chest to move. So see if you can coordinate that movement of the lower buttocks drawing in and up, the shins moving towards your elbows. Yeah, watch those upper arms, Jan. Compact the outer arms, the upper arms. That's it. Yeah, and then with motion, there you go, Cher. Press the outer wrist, press the elbows. If I was there, I would hold your elbows in place, but you have to do that yourself. That's the way. Yeah, and then bend and straighten. Draw the buttocks in to move the chest. That's the way. Okay, good. Okay, and then take a little rest. All right, and then if you've got it in you, so is that making sense, that movement of the buttocks in? Yeah, it gets the chest to lift, yeah. And then Jen, watch the arms, the upper arms roll from outside in. Okay, if you've got it in you, one last Viparita. This time, let's flip it around. So we're just doing one more. Let's take blocks to the wall. We're going to come up through Urdhva. So hands, wrists, pulse points up against the blocks. Buttocks up, base of the buttocks up. Go into the legs, Urdhva. Then place the arms one at a time. Viparita. And then from here, press to the feet, lift the buttocks up, take the chest to the wall, and then you can stay with bent legs or keeping the chest lifted. You can start to experiment with stepping those feet out a little bit. But you press through the feet, lift the buttocks to lift the chest. And then to come out, step back in, press up, Urdhva, and come down. All right, so just one more. You can do that. If it's not for you, you can repeat what we just did. Or, I mean, I swear, working with blocks for your thoracic spine, I do this every day, you know, work with the blocks for my thoracic spine in various ways. So I'm just going to show, you can take like Supta Baddha Konasana, block for your shoulder blades, block for your head, and just rest here. And this will do wonders to start to create that mobility in the upper back. So even something like this, you know, I do poses like this daily, and they're restful, but I'm working with that thoracic spine. Okay, one more go if you haven't done it already. Urdhva to Viparita. Shins up. Yeah, heels down, shins up. Yeah, and then you don't have to straighten the legs today, don't worry. I just was throwing that in if that makes sense for you. But if you can connect taking the buttocks in to lift the chest, there you go. Even lift the head, go ahead and lift the head, that's it. Middle buttocks in and up. Yeah, feet a little closer if you can, Cher, but that's the way. Chest up, you're getting a nice shape in that thoracic spine. Good. That's it. Yeah, good. Shoulder blades in and up. All right. Nicely done, folks. Nicely done. Okay. So much to do with Backbend. So much to explore. Well, hopefully I've given you a nice sampling today of things you can work on in your practice. Let's take a quick downward dog. You know, and it's like we have to come back to these things again and again, right? In 90 minutes, what can we cover? I can give you a sampling of things to work on, but there's so much, the whole world of Viparita, Viparita, Dandasana, you know, so much there. Takes time to explore these things. But hopefully you have some ideas, you know, Urdhva. We didn't get to Chatush, but we did work on different ways of getting that buttocks in and up. You can certainly work on that with Chatush, with Setu Bandha, even dropping back from shoulder stand to Setu Bandha. All right, go ahead and wide-legged Uttanasana now. So legs as wide as the mat, walk the hands back. Hold your calves, spread the elbows wide, head down. Kneecaps up, torso down. Head down, relax your head. Okay, and then come up. And we'll close with bent-legged Viparita Karani. So chair, bolster or a couple folded blankets for your calves on the seat of the chair. Another bolster for your middle back. Flat block for your sacrum. So flat block for your sacrum, bolster for your back, and make sure you have room on your head side. You know, we only have one more class in this series, which is hard for me to believe. But if you do have any particular questions or things you want to work on in that last class, send me an email. Try to, you know, if you can send it to me like maybe by Monday, Sunday or Monday, that would be good. So if you do have particular questions, things you want to work on, just shoot me an email and I'll see what I can weave into the next class. Okay, so I've got a block on the flat height, sacrum on the block, and then the back ribs, the middle back is supported on the bolster. The shoulders are on the blanket and then the legs are bent. We're looking for a perpendicular angle of the thighs. Abdomen soft, chest lifted. The head and neck are free. So the thin folded blanket, that tri-folded blanket, it's for the shoulders. It's not for your neck. And then release, let go. Good. Yeah. Let go of the roots of the thighs, let go of the abdomen. Soften across the face, the throat. Just know that you've done enough for now. You know, yoga is like an ocean. It's vast, it's deep. There's always more to explore, which is, I think, part of what keeps us all engaged. There's also contentment, surrender, doing what you can do for now, and then letting it go, letting it integrate, letting it digest. And these things do. Sometimes we're not aware of everything that's happening below the surface. In fact, we're never aware of everything that's happening below the surface. But things are happening, they are integrating. You know, you're creating those neural pathways, whether you're aware of it or not. Last minute here, just let it go. Simply let yourself exist. Stay as long as you need. If you feel called to take a Shavasana after this or to sit quietly after this, please do. But our time for this class is up for today. So you can come out if you need to, if it's time. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. I had fun. I hope you did. Like, there's always so much to cover, but hopefully we have some material now. Namaste.